You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Today, we got to get into some training camp news and rumors. And hey, we got to talk a lot about Justin Fields as well, as he is set to play in his first real game action on Saturday. Let's start with Justin Fields. Has he impressed the Dolphins through a couple of joint practices, that second one taking place this morning? For Smoking Jays, bear down. It seems that way based on what we've heard from some Dolphins players and even one Dolphins media member. That would be David Furones of the Sun Sentinel down in Miami. Bears have had a joint practice on Wednesday that continued today as well. Some scuffles today that we'll get into toward the end of the show between Khalil Mack and a former Bears player, so stay tuned for that. Furones says, hey, Fields appears to be the real deal. Has made a lot of impressive throws. He spoke highly of him. Also, Tua and Fields talked for a brief time, and Tua spoke highly of him as well. He said, met Justin Fields for the first time today. He's very athletic, very talented, as two young quarterbacks embraced before Wednesday's practice, as both these guys are trying to make it in the National Football League. Hey, Fields is pretty much impressing everyone, except for one member that we will talk about in just a second, but he's been impressive. He's had a good camp. Honestly, his practice on Wednesday was average based on what he's done throughout most of training camp. He's been much better this morning, it sounds like, which is a good sign. Second day against a different opponent, that is to be expected on that front, especially from a rookie quarterback. But Justin Fields continuing to get good reps and take advantage of his opportunities. Who do you guys think will have the better career, Justin Fields or Tua? Type JF for Justin Fields. Type TT for Tua Tagovailoa or Vailoa. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Two young quarterbacks should be very, very interesting. The one guy that's not impressed by Justin Fields, that would be Omar Kelly, who covers the Dolphins as well. He basically ripped all of the Bears quarterbacks on Wednesday, but the Bears have done much better today, it sounds like. He said, serious talk. I watched Justin Fields and the Bears quarterbacks practice yesterday and thought, thank God the Dolphins have Tua. He's not perfect. He's got issues. He's going to struggle, but I'd rather work with what he has compared to all of the Bears quarterbacks. Accuracy and anticipation. He even added this, and I heard Justin Fields had been practicing well. He looked lost yesterday. Patrick Finley, who's been at every Bears practice, covers the Bears very closely, said, responded to Kelly, said, he didn't look lost, but he's had much better days, namely on Sunday. And again, both Dolphins and Bears media members say Fields has looked even better today. So apparently Omar Kelly's not impressed, but I'll trust Finley on this one. He's been at every practice. He's watched every snap that Justin Fields has taken so far. Kelly has not covered the Bears at all, so I'm not going to overreact to what he said, especially when another Dolphins reporter, David Furones, like we said that he was very impressed by Justin Fields. So I wouldn't worry too much about Omar Kelly. Some other takeaways from Wednesday's practice. Bears front seven, I think it's going to be nasty. They were giving Tua and that Dolphins offensive line big problems yesterday. Bears O-line struggled, probably not a big surprise. Some guys are still out. Tevin Jenkins, Jermaine Ifedi, and some other guys as well. Fields had the best throw of the day to John Vay Johnson. Those two guys have connected on quite a few touchdowns during Bears training camp. And then, hey, on the flip side, that Dolphins secondary is elite, man. Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, that is probably the best CB duo in the NFL. They gave Andy Dalton some challenges in that Bears first-team offense. No surprise there. That's an elite group down there in Miami. So just some takeaways from what's happened so far between these joint practices with the Dolphins. Hey, 30K, we're just around the corner. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers before kickoff of Bears versus Dolphins. We're currently at 29,847 subs. Just 153 away. We have just under 48 hours to get to 30,000 subscribers. Come on, help us out. Hit that big red button. We'll continue to bring you Bears videos every day, and we'll be live for Bears vs. Dolphins for a watch party, so definitely do not miss that. Justin Fields, more here. Is he going to get some first-team reps in that game against the Dolphins? 3 Smoking Jays, I think it's fairly likely. I think there's a pretty decent chance that this happens because when the head coach acknowledges that it's a possibility, that's something you got to take seriously. Matt Nagy was asked about it, said Fields will play into the second half of the preseason opener, and that potentially into the fourth quarter. And he was even asked if he could play with the first-team offense, and conceded that it was possible. And I think it's more possible if Andy Dalton has a really good first series, 8, 9, 10 play drive, leads to some points, and they feel like, okay, that's good enough. Let's take him out. Then you leave some of the other starters in with Justin Fields, and he gets some run with some of the first-team players. Nagy said, hey, that could happen. I would like to see that happen. So we'll see how it goes. They're not going to compromise Dalton's reps in this first preseason opener to get Fields with the ones, but if all goes well on that first drive, then I do think it's possible that this could happen. And, hey, cue the office meme of everybody calm down. It's going to be okay. Let's just take a breath here, relax. But, yeah, Justin Fields getting first-team reps, that's very exciting. And, hey, he's going to play well after halftime, it sounds like. We're going to get to see this guy a lot here against the Dolphins in just a couple of days, which, hey, I'm tired of showing his college stats. I want to see what he does in an NFL game against a different opponent, not just training camp stuff. That's what we will get to witness here on Saturday afternoon at Soldier Field when the Bears are back at it for the first time in 2021 when Justin Fields gets his feet wet in an NFL game for the first time. I'm psyched to see Fields play. We've been waiting for this moment since he got drafted back in late April, and now it's finally here. Preseason football is underway this Saturday. Speaking of, it sounds like Justin Fields is going to play well over 2 quarters, so over under 1.5 touchdowns for Fields against Miami. Type O for over, type U for under. Go into your crystal ball and predict it. Type O for over, type U for under, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. These are the type of prop bets you'll be able to bet on during the regular season with our sports betting partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN to get a 125% deposit bonus. There's no prop bets during the preseason. You can really just bet on the betting line and the total over-under, which the Bears are 3-point favorites, and with Fields playing that much, I love the Bears in this one because I don't think Tua will play nearly as long. I don't think Jacoby Brissett will play that much, so once the Dolphins get to their third-string offense, I think the Bears major advantage there, so I'm betting a lot on the Bears this weekend. Feel good about it. Bears -3. Go make some money, and look forward to betting on tons of different props during the season at BetUS. Chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN to get a 125% deposit bonus and make some money throughout football season. Is Allen Robinson injured? No. Fake news on this one. This isn't really attributed to anyone, but everyone freaked out yesterday when Robinson was held out of that first joint practice against the Miami Dolphins. He's back today, back practicing this morning, no big deal whatsoever. Slight hamstring issue, so they just kept him out for a precautionary reason. Back on the practice field today. So to me, it's really just more of probably a vet day off type of deal, right? No issue with A-Rob. We'll see how much he plays on Saturday, probably a couple of series, if that, but I have no concerns whatsoever. He's going to be ready to rock and roll for the regular season, and he just missed one practice, so not a big deal at all. And really, this first preseason game isn't about Allen Robinson. Like, he doesn't even need to play in this game. I want to see Darnell Mooney. I want to see Damiere Byrd, Marquise Goodwin, all the way down to guys like Riley Ridley, John Vay Johnson, Rodney Adams, who's had a good camp. Let's see what these depth pieces can do in this first preseason game as this wide receiver depth and competition continues to play out, because we know Allen Robinson is this team's #1 receiver. Honestly, he could shut it down for a month, show up for the opener, and probably catch 7 balls for 100 yards. He knows what he's doing. He's been around. He's a vet. 102 grabs last year. This is one of the best at his position in the National Football League, so I'm not going to freak out to him missing one joint practice against the Miami Dolphins, especially when he's back out there today. So no issues whatsoever. Do not panic. He is not injured. Will this be, though, Allen Robinson's last year in Chicago? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Predict it for me. Will A-Rob be gone, or will he return? Y for yes, N for no, if this will be his last season. One more thing with this joint practice. Day 2, day 1, it was all roses, flowers. Flores and Nagy are talking about the opponent, how classy they've been. And then Adam Shaheen tries to go after Khalil Mack today after a play in which Khalil Mack bodied him, ended up taking him to the ground at the end of the rep because, yeah, it's Khalil Mack versus Adam Shaheen, who was a total bust in Chicago. The guy is a total stiff. I mean, Adam Shaheen is the definition of a stiff. You guys have heard me use that term a couple of times. You're probably like, what the hell is this guy on YouTube talking about when he says the word stiff? Well, I've cooked up a definition for you, and here's what it is. A stiff is the guy who thinks he's all that, who thinks he's the shit, when in fact, he's nowhere close. He's actually on the total opposite. Synonyms include bum, fraud, schmuck, any other word that fits into that category. That is Adam Shaheen. He's a stiff. I mean, you're going after Khalil Mack. Know your place. You're fighting for a roster spot in the National Football League with the Miami Dolphins after you were a total fraud in Chicago. Don't go after one of the baddest dudes in the NFL in Khalil Mack. Look, hey, I'm all about, being friendly, doing the classy thing. You go after Khalil Mack, though, when you're like a third-string tight end, that just ain't it. Like, you got to get called out on that. I'm calling Adam Shaheen out. Like, just worry about making the roster in Miami. Like, guy's a total stiff. I don't even remember any plays he ever made with the Chicago Bears. Speaking of Mack, how many sacks for Khalil Mack this year? Let me know in the comments. I'm thinking like 11.5. How about that? 11.5 sacks for Khalil Mack. I bet Khalil Mack has more sacks than Adam Shaheen has touchdowns for the rest of his career. How about that? Get your votes in. How many sacks for Mack this year? All right, we're done. We're signing off on today's show. Subscribe. We'll have a watch party on Saturday. Bears versus Dolphins. Probably go live at, 10, 15 minutes before kickoff. Kickoff at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central. Probably go live at 11:45 Central, so stay tuned for that. We will be live. We'll break down every play of Justin Fields' preseason opener. Until then, so long here on Chicago Bears Now.